Welcome to this video where we're going to be discussing implementation of process failure mode and effect analysis. So welcome again, Devin. Welcome, Dawn.
Hi.
Devin, is PFMEA then applicable to all IATF certified organizations?
So unlike DFMEA, PFMEA is applicable to all certified organizations.
Right, so it's not a permissible exclusion
Correct.
for any organization. And Dawn, from an auditor perspective then, what should auditors understand about PFMEA?
Okay, they need to know the approach that the customer is actually using and have some knowledge on FMEAs, PFMEAs.
Right, and what might be some of those different approaches, Devon, to PFMEA?
Right. So similar to the DFMEA, you have different reference manuals, and you need to familiarize yourself with those reference manuals and know what the organization is going to use, whether it be mandatory by their customer-specific requirements or what the organization chooses to use.
Right, okay. And I think most viewers may be aware that in 2019 we saw the AAG VDA approach, which is quite substantially different from the traditional approaches to FMEA. So I guess auditors need to become familiar with that if that is being adopted by the organization that they're auditing. So Dawn, give me an example maybe then from your audit experience. What are some of the problems that are found when we audit PFMEA in an IATF audit?
I think sometimes we're not actually focusing on the risks of the organisation, and sometimes going in with a preconception of what those risks actually are, rather than, kind of using a structured approach.
Right, okay. So prejudging rather than standing back and taking a more objective
Yes.
view.
Yeah.
Okay. And Devon, maybe give me another example of common problems with PFMEA.
Yeah, so as we've talked about several times on this channel, the PFMEA needs to link to the control plan, which links to the standardized work instructions. And a lot of times there's still that gap there.
Yeah. And I guess that could be, and I see it in a lot of organizations, where maybe the responsibility for the process flow, the PFMEA, and the control plan is different functions within the organization. And maybe the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. So that, I guess, brings out the need then, Dawn, for this cross-functional approach.
Absolutely.
So who typically should an organization have in their cross-functional team?
Really anyone that touches that product. So, it could be, you could actually have suppliers on there, you could have your customers on there, but then internally you would maybe want to have someone from quality, someone from manufacturing, someone from purchasing. So it could be all levels of the organisation would have something to bring.
Yeah, and I guess those people don't all have to be in a room at the same time.
No.
It depends what aspect of the FMEA that we are considering there. Devon, in terms of the scope of the FMEA, if we think about the manufacturing process, what should be the complete scope of a PFMEA?
Yeah, so once again, the input of that starts at the DFMEA, comes into the PFMEA, scopes out. So you're going to look at the entire manufacturing process, all inputs, the outputs, and anything in between.
Right. So really, from the raw material coming in to the finished product going out, it needs to look at the risk in that complete manufacturing process. Okay. When should FMEAs be reviewed, Dawn? When should the PFMEA be studied again?
Yeah, it could be a customer specific requirement that's defined by your customer, but certainly if you have any changes to the product or to the process, also if you have any complaints or non-conformities identified, then you would revisit the PFMEA
Yeah.
to see whether there are any changes required.
Yeah, and I think that non-conformity statistics identifies that that is a common problem, that FMEA may have been created, but there isn't a structured mechanism to review and update it in light of changes or internal or external concerns. Devin, anything else to add about common issues?
It just remember it's a living document. It's not a paperwork exercise. It's there for a reason. We put it in the IATF standard for a reason. So
Yeah, I think from counting, I think PFMEA wording is mentioned about 26 times in the standard. So yeah, this is something that is a really serious requirement within the IATF standard for a purpose, I guess, focus on defect prevention rather than detection. So let's summarize then. So every IATF 16949 organization has to effectively implement PFMEA, a risk analysis of the complete manufacturing process from the raw material coming in to the finished product going out. IATF said that a PFMEA must be created and maintained by a cross-functional team and should be reviewed and updated when we're proposing or making changes to the process, when we have external or where we have internal concerns, or at a set frequency based upon a risk analysis.